Alright guys, welcome to some homework help. We're going to go over these first 6 problems in our packet. As a reminder what the packet is titled in the front. It says Quadratic Equations, Part 1. We're actually working on Part 2, the first half of Part 2, these first 6 questions here. Before we begin, I want to remind people that we need to have a list of numbers memorized or at least written down in our notebooks to even do these questions. So those numbers that we need to have written down. We need to have that 4 is the same thing as 2 squared. We need to know that 9 is the same thing as 3 squared, that 16 is the same thing as 4 squared, that 25 is the same thing as 5 squared, that 36 is the same thing as 6 squared, that 49 is the same thing as 7 squared, that 64 is the same thing as 8 squared, that 81 is the same thing as 9 squared, and that 100 the same thing as 10 squared. We really got to have these down pat. The quicker you have these memorized, the easier your life is going to be as we go forward. These are your list. This is titled A List of Perfect Squares. Numbers that end up being a perfect square. So let's simplify. We have square root of 27. In general, your very first step is to immediately use your calculator to check to see if 27 is divisible by any of the numbers on this list. I'm going to go ahead and start with the smallest numbers because it's usually easiest to start with those. However, if you're comfortable starting with the larger numbers and wasting a little bit of time, sometimes it can actually make life easier for later. So let's do it. Number 27. We're going to divide it by 4 first. We go into our calculator and we type in 27, divided by 4, and when you do that, you'll end up getting, let's do 6.75. This is not a whole number. This is no good for us, so this is actually useless. We don't need it. But if we do go into our calculator and do 27 divided by 9, why are we doing 9? Again, it's the next number on this list. You always need to divide by numbers on this list for square roots. So we're dividing by this number, these numbers here. This is number 9 right here. So 27 divided by 9, that gives us 3. That lets us know that 3 times 9 is 27. Why does that matter? Well, that means I can rewrite the square root of 27 as the square root of 9 multiplied by the square root of 3. And why does that matter? Well, the square root of 9, radical 9, rad 9, it's the same thing as 3. And that's the whole question. You're completely done. There's nothing else you have to do. Let's check out problem number 2. Oh, why does it radical 7 show up again? You don't have to do it. Oh my gosh. I'm going to blame my computer program. It's not supposed to spit out 2 problems of the same. Lucky you guys. Anyways, number 12 here. Check to see first, does it divide by 4? It sure does. We can immediately rewrite and say, hey, this guy is the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 3. Because we can divide by 4. After that, square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 3. Done. That's the whole question. Same exact thing on problem number 3. So problem number 3, square root of 8. Well, square root of 8, we're going to check first, does it divide by 4? Oh, it sure does. We get the square root of 4 multiplied by the square root of 2. And the square root of 4 is 2 times the square root of 2. That's it. We're done. Problem 4 apparently was the same question twice. That should not have happened, but it did. Lucky you guys. Number 5 here, 243. So this one we just start checking to see if any of these numbers on this list divide into 243. If you check out 4 and divide by 4, check to see if it works. Not going to work. However, when you divide by 9, 9 will work, in fact. So you can write the square root of 9 multiplied by, I got to do a little bit of math in my head. We got 27, I believe. I'm going to double check myself. I think so. That is definitely correct. So after that, this guy is going to be 3 times the square root of 27. We actually did square root of 27 earlier, though. Square root of 27, we did it. We don't even have to show this work if we already know what it is. Square root of 27 is 3 rad 3. Now, if you want to go through the work, you could definitely go through the work, and you end up getting 9 square root of 3. All done. Please note, like I said earlier, if you're willing to try out the larger numbers, you could have made this problem easier. If you're trying out the harder numbers, if I had just done 243 divided by 81 first, I would have found out that the square root of 81 multiplied by the square root of 3 is in fact 243. The square root of 81 is 9. 9 times the square root of 3. Done. Number 6, 588. So same exact concept. We have to continuously see if we can divide. I don't even have a calculator with me, so I'm going to take a long time doing this, and that's okay. Sometimes it takes a long time doing it. We're going to write the square root of 4 first. Figure out what number goes into that. It's going to be 147. After that, we need to continue on. The square root of 4 is 2. Multiply that square root of 147. You need to check to see if 147 is divisible by 4. If we tried it, it won't work. See if it's divisible by 9. Let's see if is it divisible by 9. I don't think so. Nope, not divisible by 9. So we gotta check what else could it be divisible by? Divisible by 16? No. 36? No. It is divisible by 49, though. We could do dividing by 49. So 2 multiplied by the square root of 49 multiplied by, it turns out 49 times 3 is going to work out for us. So 2 times the square root of 49 is going to be 2 times 7 times the square root of 3. I'm running out of room here, so I'm going to have to move over to the right. But my final answer is 14 square root of 3. Easy enough. That's it, guys, for this short little video, and that was tonight's homework. Have a good one.